This roast beef guy up in Massachusetts is making waves. He has a fishing show that's kind of funny, but he's been very disrespectful to fly fishermen. I mean, he's not wrong, but I'm going to send Big Pussy up to Springfield to whack him off irregardless.
Bobby Roast Beef here, Jigs and friggin' Bigs. Man, it is a Monday night as we record this. That means it is a fast turnaround, and we have some stuff to talk about. Thanksgiving weekend just wrapped. A bunch of folks had some time off. We're going to be talking about some fishy shit that went down. We got lots to cover, and if you are an aspiring content creator who's specifically in our Just the Tip segment, we got something really, really fantastic for you there. If you've toyed around with the idea, or maybe you're trying to justify getting into the content game, we're going to talk about how to get started without breaking your bank and things that you really kind of need to focus on to kind of get something really out of it. Plus, in this week, we got a call from Eli in the live well, and it's a good one, too. A little bit of a retrospective back at the show. All kinds of good stuff. A couple of headlines. Got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown in the house. You guys don't want to miss this. We got more Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up right after this. True. Yeah, it's one of those days, you know. Here we are. It's a Monday evening. Joe and I were just saying it's been months since we've done a Monday recording for this show. Once I picked up my regular Monday event, then it was just like kaput. That was it. But they're hosting a holiday party for all the employees of that group of establishments that I work with, and I'm kind of ditching them because they did invite me to go to the party, but I'm like, I got a podcast to record, guys. I'm gonna do something. If I am not coming here and getting paid, I'm gonna do something productive. We're gonna do this podcast late break and get it out here. So it'll be a nice flip. How's things going, Joe? How are you?
Things are awesome, dude. I'm good. You know, still recovering from the holiday meals, and that's it, dude. Just killing it.
Did you just get a haircut?
No, no. Want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you this. 9 times out of 10, I cut my own hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
wow,
I've gotten pretty good at it over the years.
Yeah.
Like, because like now that like barbershops have turned into like appointment only, it's like freaking tough, dude, and it's expensive as shit.
We're gonna go down that rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah, my cousin has a barbershop, and it's still just like, it's so tough to get in there. Like, so dude, I bet like I started cutting it in COVID. I've gotten pretty good at it, and I was just like, fuck it, I'll just if I need a cut, I'll do it myself. So, I did a few days ago. You're not used to seeing me without a hat. That's what it is.
Maybe that's
Bobby.
What it is. Yeah,
I don't have a hat on.
No shit. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I was like, you look like an infant when you first logged in. I was like, what? Man, I'm like, I know I'm getting old, but Christ.
No glasses, no hat. Yeah. I'm just like it's a new me. Guy? It's a new me tonight.
It's funny, though, this whole talk about barbers, because I don't know if you noticed, I cut like 3 some inches off my beard.
I was wondering.
I cut a bunch off. I was like, it's flannel season, and I'm just, when my beard is that long, like I can't button when it's like, and I'm losing weight, so like I'm fucking freezing, dude. So like, I can button these flannels all the way up now, and I'm like, all right, cool, you know. And the problem is my beard keeps catching and flapping out. Like it's just, it sits all weird. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do a real short one. It'll buy me some time to go. And it's nuts. I have a barber, Mo is her name. She is awesome. And I have a barbershop that's, it's a block and a half away from my house. Like, it's so close. I feel like an idiot driving there some days, but lots of times I'm like making a stop there. And I haven't seen, so like, here's the deal. I started shaving my head in my early 20s. I think I was like 22 or 23. And I stopped going to see a barber at that point because I would just do all of it myself, you know? And, Binion goes, says, Bobby, I was watching your Rod Arsenal video and you were looking very Vermont in that outfit there. He is not wrong. He is not wrong there. That's 100% true. So I go and I'm set up and everything, and I was good, I shaved my own head, trim my own facial hair, all that stuff. I'm like, I hadn't seen a barber in years. COVID happens, and I decided to grow the beard out because I've got the time to do so. And I'm like, you remember the time I fucked it up, and I shaved it off, and I left the mustache and looked like every villain in every Western. So I was like, no, this isn't ever going to work. I need to see a professional. So I started to see this barber that was over right at the shop right next to me, and she was awesome. The problem is she's wicked popular, and like getting an appointment was just nuts. So I needed an appointment for an event that I had coming up, and I was like, I want to get in there. I was like, I'm just going to pick somebody else. So I did. I picked this guy, Joel. Joel is awesome. I like the way he did my beard too. The only issue with that is that Joel's kind of flighty. So like one day he just didn't show up.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, well, I gotta have an appointment. I kind of have something going on. And they're like, oh, well, Mo can take you, And I was like, all right, cool. Sounds good. And Mo, it's been over a year now. She's been doing my beard, and she's awesome. Every time I want to change a little something up, she gets it right away. Like she's the best. And so like, I go through this. Dude, I got an email yesterday from her. It was like a mass email from like all of her contacts. She works there, and she works at another salon in Northampton. She's moving strictly to that salon in Northampton. And I'm like, in a second, I would follow her if it wasn't so convenient for me to go to Parlor Faded right in my neighborhood. Like it's too convenient. So I'm like, all right, we'll go ahead. We'll do this. I'm hoping that the owner has some openings because he's not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He'll be there long term. So yeah, I'm going to go and have to switch it up again. And so yeah, that was a whole thing. It's so nice though to not have to go out and wear a hat. Like I could just easily shave my head, but the problem is it doesn't look right the way I trim my beard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The lineup isn't right. Like it's functional, but like I feel like you can tell. So I did it myself. I don't know. That's not what people show up to this fucking podcast for. They don't give a shit about this, guys. If this is your first time tuning into Jigs and Bigs, I apologize that this is the conversation you're getting into. But, we talk about some fishy shit, and I do have some fishy shit to go over with. But, Joe, it's a sad day for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Why don't you tell the people?
The boat is put away for the winter. She gone.
But she's tucked away in a very nice, comfortable facility,
Right. Climate controlled.
Yeah.
She's comfy. Like I told you, I didn't even it was very I'd kind of dragged my feet on bringing it this year. And to the point they actually texted me like, hey, you coming soon? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll come next week. This was last week.
Yep.
And, because I was like, I'll probably take some rods out and some baits out, just just so I have them to tinker with. And then we got the forecast for the impending snowstorm tomorrow, and I was like, oh shit! So I texted him this morning. Luckily, I had today off. I texted him this morning. He's like, yeah, bring it down. And so I didn't take any of the rods out, any of the any baits.
Oh, nothing. Okay.
Nothing. I took nothing out. It's all just in there. And yeah, I hooked her up this morning. I brought her all the way out to Ludlow.
Yeah.
Dropped her off real quick. And then I had an appointment for an oil change in my, for my truck. So scooted all the way back out to Eastern, part of the state. And, so I was doing a lot of running around this morning, but she's tucked away. Meg's happy because she has her spot back in the driveway.
There you go.
For the winter.
It's a nice 4 months,
Yep. I had Jeremiah out there today with the leaf blower, making sure all the leaves and everything are off the driveway here's the other thing I just realized. My snowblower was in for maintenance and I hadn't picked it up yet.
Oh no.
So I had to call them and they're supposed to drop it off tomorrow. So we'll see. Cause I don't have a flat trailer. I usually use my dad's, but it's such a pain in the dick to go run to his house and go
pick that up and go over. Just
drop it off. And they're
yep. Makes life a lot easier. Well, it's better to have it than not. And the good thing is the snow's not supposed to start until later tomorrow morning anyway.
Yeah.
From what I understand. So, but it's like 8 inches. My boat is sitting uncovered in the driveway like a moron.
That's okay.
Because I'm like,
okay.
I'm going to send this bitch this weekend. And I'm hoping to. I am genuinely hoping to. I have a cousin's family event that we do every year, this Christmas get-together. And I've got to go to that. And I was like, man, do I want to send it to the Cape just to go? And I'm like, no, man. I'm gonna fish locally because we don't have ice. There's no reason, for me to drive 2+ hours, one way out there anyway. I'm like, this is probably the better move. So I am planning on
pounded some bigs in Webster Lake yesterday.
I know, dude. Speaking of fucking catching them. So Thanksgiving was Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving,
Yes.
Black Friday came and went. Everybody's got a Black Friday sale. Today is Cyber Monday. Actually, the better sound effect there would be Cyber Monday. Okay, the live scope one, I think that would be a little bit better. And my inbox has just been absolutely like the knocker is torn down. The doorbell is gone. Like every single possible piece of marketing from any kind of commercial organization, it's come across my eyes. Dude. It's ridiculous. I still managed. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was Wednesday. I still managed to get out and do some fishing. Still managed. Had a little bump in the road. So I didn't realize that this year. I talked about on the show, my buddy Paul has had some, recent challenges getting back on the water. Like he's back in chemo right now, and it's not great. He's had some major back pain issues. But oddly, his second treatment of chemo, like all of his back pain has pretty much just disappeared. Like pretty, so he's actually been feeling pretty good. And we've been making plans to go out like in the morning or something and grab breakfast and just hang out and catch up. And there's like, it's a whole thing. So I'm like, dude, I go, you say like, I don't want to nag you, but I know it's killing you to not be on the water. I know it is. So I'm like, whenever you're ready, say the word. And he's like, he goes, let's see how the rest of the week kind of looks. Well, Wednesday we had like this unicorn day where it was like a high of 60. It was crazy. And that's the one thing he's been dealing with chemo has been sensitivity to cold. Like it's been really, really, like he's taking the dog out for a walk and he's like, yeah, dude, I'm wearing like a parka and like a scarf and shit like that. It's like, it's crazy. So he's like, regulating body temperature sucks. But I was like, let's send it. Let's go for it. Well, my daughter had, this is another thing too. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so many schools are just straight up canceling on that day or closed on that day. You remember when it was a half day always, right?
Yeah, my kids still have half day.
Mine does too. She's got a half day. She goes to a regional school too. I'm surprised because like I would think they'd pull the plug there. So she goes, here's the deal. Initially, she was going to one of her friends is a senior that drives, and she's like, yeah, I'm just going to come home with her. And I was like, okay, cool. That's awesome. So I'll drop you off in the morning. Then I was like, Paul and I can get out nice and early. And this way we have the whole morning, all good to go. It was like Tuesday, and my daughter's like, oh, hey, Dad, I forgot to tell you. Kira's car is fucked, so I am going to need you to pick me up. So I had to fly back I had to get her to school for like 7:30, go back for like 11 a.m., like boat in tow. And she's so embarrassed when I go pick her up and I've got the boat because I've got the truck nuts hanging out the back of the trailer. So I go over and I'm like, all right, let's go. So I pick her up. I zip back home. I told Paul, I was like, listen, man, we're probably only going to have a few hours. Fingers crossed that these fish cooperate. And they did. They did. And I brought some clips. So jig heads, you guys go ahead and take a look at this. And here's, we only caught 2, but they mattered. You can see this hook set in my latest YouTube video too. Here I'm throwing a baby A-rig from Basto. There we go. Look at that hook set, Joe. Isn't that thing of beauty? Okay, found him. Fucking found him on the old chandelier, baby. Not bad. And then Probably 30 minutes later, Paul hooks into one on a Ned rig.
Yeah.
Fucking hey, Paul.
Fucking gorgeous. Look
That's
at you.
That's a fucking beaut, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is a beaut, homie. Right?
Fuck yeah.
Nice, man. Holy shit. With solid fish. That was the biggest fish he's caught this year. So I was like, holy fucking shit. I was just like, I just hope, because like I've been getting my ass kicked going out and fishing the river, and like, you know, it's like sometimes I'll be able to find them, other times they just want nothing to do with my level of bullshit. The sad thing is that I did fish that A-rig for another 2 hours. It was basically all I fished, but I had to live dangerously because these fish were hugging the bottom, like on it. So I had to let this thing hit the bottom and then just creep it right over to keep it down as low as possible. And yeah, I lost it. Not fun. Lost that A-rig, but it was like coming up on like what would have been one of the last casts. I'm like, it was worth it, man. It was 100% worth it. Friggin', he was delighted. He was so stoked. So it was a good day. I felt good about that. I was pretty happy. Can't complain. A good day on the water. And it's this time of year when you got to grind for those bites. Days like that make it so much more worth it. Like unbelievable. Yeah. It was good. So I had trivia that night and everything, and then, you know, Thanksgiving and all that stuff. And I had gone out, you know, while I was off of work. When I was home, I went out and I recorded a video. I was like, actually, I just kind of planned to go take the truck and muddy the tires up a little bit and everything. And you know, it was kind of crazy. Where I went, it was like busy. There was a lot of trucks, a lot of vehicles back there, a lot of people walking around on the trails.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I was like, really? All right, well, whatever. And I always get a little nervous when I go over to that spot because I'm like, I'm not 100% sure I'm supposed to be here. But I've looked into it, like on X and stuff, and I'm like, it looks like I'm good. And like some of the areas, there's no pavement, but there's fucking street names. Like it's some of the and then there's trails that go off of there and everything, but it was just, you know, I had a good time. But it dawned on me, I was like, you know, I have been putting off doing a rod and reel arsenal video for a while, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and go for it. And I was fried when I recorded that video. I was cooked. And I don't know if anybody in here has watched it, but if you have, any of our jig heads, chime in. Could you tell? Because, I mean, like, ridiculous. But it turned out to be a pretty good video. Got that thing flipped and edited, and it went live on Sunday. So that was pretty cool. I was glad I managed to be productive, too, with the channel. And then Paul and I went back out again on Saturday. And I was like, I'm going to go and go into Connecticut and try and hit some trails if you want to go. He's like, screw it, let's go. And he's like, should I bring a rod just in case? And I'm like, yeah, might be a good idea. Smart. And, you know, but it was like 36 degrees. It was so cold and the windy as shit. That's the worst part. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's get a coffee. We went, we tooled around, visited a new dispo and picked up some goodies. In fact, I'm going to actually be popping an edible after we get to the next segment. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really, really good. And you know, it's funny. After Thanksgiving comes around, I am usually the one that's like, all right, let's just get Christmas over with. Like I don't feel very Christmassy or festive very often. Not every year. What about you? Are you like that, Joe? or is there like a point where it just hits you and you're just like, fuck it, let's go?
It's funny. You want to hear a funny story, Bobby?
I love funny stories.
So only because I'm retiring and I just don't give a shit anymore. So I'm on a medicine that kind of just like takes all emotion out of me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
and they recently like upped the dose because of, you know, when I was away from the show for a little bit. Yeah. So they upped the dose. So it's like, I love Christmas, dude, especially with young kids.
Oh yeah. It's the best.
And so last year, I'll be 100% honest. I was just like, this year, dude, I'm like, Meg, let's get some like more decorations for the house and like lights, stuff. She's like, who are you? Yeah. You know, because she loves it. And Emma, you know, obviously Emma is at an age where she absolutely, you know, just bestows it, you know. Yep. And We got the elf on the shelf, that stupid fucking
Oh
thing.
my
for
God,
her.
you guys are
And
still doing that? Oh, geez.
You know what's funny, dude? I didn't even know that was a thing until I met Meg and moved in with Meg and had the boys. Never even heard of it before until then. Dude, it shows you how like deprived and poor I was as a kid. Dude.
Well, like I don't remember that being a thing from when I was a kid at all. You know, like I don't remember anybody even talking about it. So I feel like as far as the popularity, like getting to where it is now, that is probably pretty recent. But I'm like, my God, my wife used to work so hard with the fucking elf on a shelf. Correction, with our firstborn. Things changed.
Yeah, things change. Things change. And like last night, dude, we're laying in bed and Meg goes, "Oh shit." I go, "What?"
Yep.
She's like, "The elf."
Fuck.
So, but we don't do any of these like extravagant things. We just put it in a different spot every night. But yeah, it's I like Christmas, dude. I like Christmas.
I do. And like usually it's like it'll be like the week of, I'm like, all right, fine, let's play some Christmas music or let's do whatever. This year I'm like debating looking at like fucking ugly sweaters and shit like that, like to wear to trivia and shit. And I'm like, what? Who the fuck am I? And I found an ugly sweater that I think fits me to a T. It's like an off-white, like a cream color with red like detailing on it. And it kind of looks like a big like candy cane in a way. And on the front it says,
"I would drop kick a child for a Diet Coke."
I like that.
And I feel like that's the best you're going to get out of Bobby Roast Beef for the holidays, you know?
Yep.
I feel like that there's something about that that's pretty good. There's another one that I was looking at that it's, but I don't know if I can bring myself to do it because it's a cat design. And I'm like, yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't think I can bring myself there, but.
You know the other thing too, Bobby? You know what ruins Christmas for people like us?
Crippling credit card debt.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah,
that too. The stress and anxiety of like having to go to family shit.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I'll be honest, like we usually go down to Rhode Island every year for Christmas Eve. It's a pain in the fucking dick, dude, for her family. But we're not doing it this year. So maybe that's why I'm like, okay, Christmas.
That
like,
very well could be
literally like just going down there with the kids, an hour and a half ride there for a few hours, hour and a half ride back. Like they get all hopped up on sugar and bullshit while we're there. So they're fucking made. So dude, I'm just like, it's when I'm just like driving back and my face is just beat red because I'm so like annoyed and angry. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe that has to do with it.
That
I
very
don't have
well
to deal
could.
with that shit this year.
It's crazy too, because like there is something about having one of the holidays at your place, because then you don't have the traveler. Like you have a different sort of stress, but at the same time, like if you can handle that, like and tackle it and be like, oh, I've got to get these things ready, or the whatever needs to be set up in time or whatever, you can handle that. Just something about like the element of like, I gotta go and do this. Like I was in one of those families where Christmas Eve was 2 locations every year. We were driving and granted it was only like Chicopee to Springfield usually.
Sure.
So it wasn't anything crazy, but like, I don't know. It's just nuts. It's crazy to me.
Yep.
And then everybody's got crazy sales right now. Like unbelievable. We're like I said, I think I said this earlier, not in this show, but in a previous episode. Like this year, we're traveling for Christmas, and and last year we did Christmas Eve just us, and it was awesome. It was so good. You know what I'm really looking forward to this year with Christmas is
what's that?
Being in the mountains, and we're like, we're a big game family. Like we like to play games together. My wife ordered the coolest fucking game, and I can't wait to play it with everybody.
Okay.
It's magnet chess. Have you seen this?
Okay.
It's like a rope, right? And it's tied in a big loop.
I have seen that, yes.
And there's different sized magnet pieces, and you just you put them down next to each other, and if they connect together, you have to pick those up and keep going. It's kind of like Uno, but kind of like chess. I was like, okay.
Right.
I'm like, all right, that could be kind of fun.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, we'll fool around that. That'll be kind of fun, but we'll just see what happens. Got the 300th episode coming up.
Yes, we do.
And that's coming up faster than I freaking realized. I'm like, it's already December. Like, we're like 6 weeks away. And so you guys got to get your tickets. Make sure that you get your tickets. I had a conversation with the butcher regarding the lodging, the discount that we're offering for lodging. I'm waiting on a link to be able to share from him for all of you guys. Guys, get your tickets. I've had a couple of people reach out and say, oh, I'm waiting until we get the lodging link so we can just do it all at once. The reason why I say get your tickets now is because let's say you decide last minute, you're like, oh, we're not going to be able to make it for the show, or there's a snowstorm or something. That ticket still is your entry. You could tune in on the live stream and it's still your entry for the giveaway. So at least if you get them in advance, go ahead and do that. So we are going to be dropping some content regarding some of the prize sponsors, some of the brands that we're working with for that. We got a bunch of different brands, some really, really cool ones that I'm looking forward to. Plus, the door prizes alone are going to be pretty amazing. And there's a couple of extra ones that are in there. One of them actually from the butcher. And there's a couple. Actually, Cheryl Bentley and I had a conversation about an additional little door prize as well. Cheryl is quite the talented artist. And we had a conversation about a very specific, a nice utilitarian piece, but would make one hell of a nice piece of artwork. A good conversation piece. It's very, very cool. Oh, look, Todd Sefton in the house, fishing in the sticks. He says, what's up, fellas? Just had a meeting, just getting here. Well, glad you could be with us, dude. Glad you could be with us. So, 300th episode's coming up. There's going to be some good shit. I had a conversation. Do you remember Taya Angst?
Yes. Yeah.
So Taya had posted, she's got another book that just came. In fact, Jigheads, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this has been on my desk for a little while. This is Taya's first book. It's a cocktail recipe book, and it's all based around the tarot cards. All the themes. She wrote another book, and it's all about, this is totally not, I think our main demographic, but it's cocktails like that throughout the Sex and the Series television series. So I'm like, it's pretty, and she's been doing a lot of media for it. And she's like, I want to be on more podcasts. I want to do more podcasts. And I was like, hey, what do you think? And I think I kind of have an idea. I want to talk with, a couple of folks about doing I'd like to introduce wine to the angling community. Are you a wine drinker at all, Joe? You've tried a bunch and you're like, can't find anything I like. Fuck this shit. I'm not into grape juice. Anything. All right, fair enough. Because that's kind of what I want to do is I want to have her. And I figured I was like, Meg's most likely going to be at this event. Holly's going to be at this event. And if we get Holly a couple of drinks beforehand, she might actually participate. But I'm thinking what we could do is a little wine tasting. Becca's going to be there, and we can go through and have some folks say so these are the drinks that I typically like. And she can make some recommendations. That could be kind of fun. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of unique ways to kind of have a really good time and, just lay into it. I think it's going to be a good party. So grab your tickets, guys. Giveaways. That's basically what that ticket is it gets you in there because there's a whole form that you got to fill out, just contact information so that any prizes that you win, and you could win multiples, we're going to be sending those directly from the sponsor for that prize. They're going to send it directly to you. Nice and easy. No worries. Oh, Cheryl says, I bought that book. Nice. The tarot one or the Sex and the City one? There's another cool thing that Taya did. I don't know if I ever told you about this, Joe. She developed this thing called poetic pores.
I don't think so.
So what these are, it's like a mason jar that's got crystallized mixers and the dried fruits.
Yeah. I do remember hearing about that.
Yeah, that's very cool. And you basically can take these and boil water, add a measured amount of boiling water to them, let everything reconstitute and rehydrate, cool down, add ice, add spirits, and then just shake it in the mason jar. And you've got 3 old fashions in one jar.
That's pretty awesome.
I'm like, dude, it's pretty badass. I've used them when I've camped, and I'm like, that's pretty awesome. Okay, that's perfect. Cool. Yeah, it is the tarot one. Yeah, actually, Cheryl, I was like, if there's one that I think probably is right up Cheryl's alley, that tarot one is good. The book itself, the illustrations, everything, it's pretty fucking cool. I'm a big food and drink geek. It's part of what I do. I feel like it's kind of obvious. You just look at me. You're like, this guy knows how to eat and drink well, It's just part of it. It's just part of it. What else do we have? So that covers pretty much my fishy shit for the most part. Not a whole lot going on, but man, I'll tell you what fishy shit did go on was fantastic. You can't be mad at that. And we'll kind of go from there. What do we got? We got anything else that we have to cover? Oh, yes. One thing I do want to mention that did happen this week, was that, well, we had our first certified stud text message come through, and it was from John Carter, who is in here actually right now, one of our jig heads, and he submitted an absolute beast of a salmon, and it's pretty badass. So we're gonna text those pics to us, guys. Send us your pictures, and make sure to give some information about the fish. You know, stuff that we can talk about when we judge them, and for sure, leave your name and any social handles so we can, mention those when we go through them too, because we're going to go through all of this shit. And the hotline worked like a charm. It did exactly what I needed it to do. Makes life easy. In fact, if you need the hotline, guys, I went so far as to create it as part of the background on the jigsandbigs.com site with all the links, and you can click that number and it'll dial. You can just go ahead and click on that number. It'll call it right up. So you can go ahead and do that, or copy it, then put it in your phone, and then send us, pics of your certified studs, and we'll get some prizes together. That's one thing that we got to do is figure out what we're gonna do for stuff, because I got some. We know who we're gonna know who the winners are. We're gonna need some sizes for some Jigs and Bigs merch. As well as a couple of things, because I think we're going to do a hoodie, probably a hoodie and a t-shirt. No, what am I saying? A hoodie and a t-shirt, hoodie and a hat, most likely. So once we have a winner, we'll reach out to them, get some sizing info, get that together, plus a couple of specialty items. Depending on who wins, you never know what we could be giving away. It could be really good. I hope they're local, because then I can get weird with it. They don't have to ship anything, you know what I mean?
I agree.
When I say local, I will drive a couple hours to get this to you. It's not a problem. Shit, I hope they're not local and I have to drive to fucking Lake Jordan and fucking go fishing in North Carolina again. Fine, I'll do it.
Oh, be a bummer if you're near Lake Fork.
If I had to go all the way down south and bring the boat and spend 4 days, and it'd be terrible, but there's other ways to get around it. But why don't we go ahead? We'll jump into our headlines here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll kick this over to Joe.
All right, folks, I got 2 stories for you today. 2, count them, 1, 2. And the first, Bobby, is going to be Alabama bass tournaments are getting canceled after the deadly MLF boat crash on Smith Lake.
Oh, really?
Tournament directors across the state say they're concerned about liability, public safety, and permit requirements after seeing the wrongful death lawsuit filed against Major League Fishing. The effects of the fatal boat crash that occurred earlier this year on Smith Lake are still reverberating throughout Alabama's tournament fishing community, as evidenced by the recent cancellations of several bass tournaments there. Tournament directors are now citing liability concerns, while others are seeking clarification on the laws and permits that guide these kinds of events. This all reflects a broader uneasiness across Alabama in the wake of the Smith Lake crash that occurred during a bass tournament there in April that we've covered multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
When MLF tournament angler Flint Davis crashed into a striped bass charter and killed 3 anglers on board. It resulted in a wrongful death lawsuit against one of the sport's biggest tournament organizers, Major League Fishing. Davis has since been indicted on manslaughter charges in a criminal case that is separate from the civil lawsuit, which also names Davis as a defendant. In the wrongful death lawsuit, the family of one of the anglers killed accused MLF of creating a culture that incentivizes recklessness and of failing to implement a proper safety plan to protect the public. This latter allegation may be giving other tournament directors pause, especially for smaller scale local tournaments that may not have the legal or financial resources of an organization like MLF. This would include the Gunnersville Open Bass Tournament, which decided in early November to not only cancel 2 of its marquee tournaments, but to disband as a club altogether. A YouTuber who spoke with the organization confirmed that it will also delete its social media pages permanently. The group said in a November 2nd Facebook post that the popular Black Friday and New Year's Day tournaments held annually on Gunnersville will officially come to an end. It clarified that the difficult decision was made in light of the Smith Lake incident. Quote, it's unfortunate that something like this has to bring an end to such long-standing tradition, Gunnersville Open Bass Tournament organizer James Cornelius said, but we have to protect ourselves and do what's right. Another similar worded announcement came from Auburn University's bass fishing team on November 20th. The team said in a Facebook post that it would be canceling its upcoming tournament on Lake Jordan due to recent events. And because a law required a permit for marine events like fishing tournaments, the team said it was canceling the tourney to keep the team protected, presumably from litigation that could result from a boat crash. So it goes on a little bit more, kind of talking about the crash again. But yeah, people are scared, Bobby. People are nervous.
And, and I think those are the trails that are going to suffer the most, are the smaller regional ones, sure. You know what I mean? Because it's like at the end of the day, like a larger organization has the ability to cover themselves, both like literally with like insurance, but also to take steps and say like, hey, so we're going to implement these things. Is it going to cost some money? Sure. But we'll figure out a way to do it on the back end. You know what I mean? We'll figure it out.
Yep.
When you're dealing with and it does suck because for a lot of those folks, like that's exactly it. Now, here's the thing. Like, I understand that, there's this thought that like these tournament anglers are out on this water and they're just flying at mock Jesus with no regard for anybody. And here's the thing. That's only one small sliver of people that fish. There's still people out there who just have those super fast bass boats that are going to be out there regardless. So, I mean, really all that's doing, I feel, is kind of hurting the tournament industry. And it is a separate industry. I mean, there's a whole economy that goes on with that. Shit, the locations where they are, the tourism, that kind of shit. Like the municipality is going to feel that. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's like really what is that actually doing? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, sure, you have to, this is something that there's obviously like not one thing you're going to say, oh, we're going to do this and that's going to solve the problem. Few things in life are ever that easy. You know what I mean? There's multiple angles and things like that have to be considered, but it just sucks to see like exactly what that quote was. Something all this tradition has gone flushed down the toilet basically all because of this whole thing. So a lot of people are just afraid of getting sued.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think I think this is one of many to come, especially on those big lakes with the big tournaments or multiple tournaments going on
at one time. Yeah, exactly. It's just, I don't know, man. It's a lot. I mean, shit, dude. Look at wreck boats, man. Like boat accidents. Like it's one of those things as a boat owner, you don't want to think about a whole lot, but you have to.
Yeah.
Like there are things that there are people who have absolutely no business on the boat. And in some cases, the wreck boats are going to be the most, dangerous ones,
Oh, dude, there's probably 1,000 wreck boat incidents to every one fishing boat.
And I think that's why we hear about it,
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know where I could get that data to like prove or disprove what that is, but like, how do you do that? Like, I think that the issue really isn't necessarily like, oh, we're not going to have these tournaments now because we don't want to get sued. Which I totally understand, but shit, I was surprised that MLF canceled some.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. The smaller trails, no, not so much, but damn, dude, that's shitty.
It is. I'm trying to find out.
And I wonder if that Jordan Lake is the same one that I fished. I don't think so. Because if that was in Alabama, I don't think so. The one I fished was in North Carolina. And that's got to be a super common name. But man.
Well, I got a little bit of a more uplifting story for you guys now. So, How 2 West Virginia kids became the youngest Bassmaster Junior National champions ever.
Wow.
In the world of competitive bass fishing, comebacks are rare. Comebacks led by 11 and 12-year-olds, practically unheard of. But in 2021, at the Mossy Oak Fishing Bassmaster Junior National Championship, 2 young anglers from West Virginia flipped the script and made history. Bo Holland and Ari Clark first met at the boat ramp for the Bass Nation of West Virginia Junior State Championship in 2018 when they were only 8 years old. They finished second, which qualified them for nationals where they finished 9th place overall. Big beginnings. Bo, now 11 and Ari now 12, showed up at Tennessee's sprawling Carroll County 1,000-acre recreational lake with big dreams in 2021. But after a tough first day, landing just 4 fish for 3.8 pounds, those dreams seemed to be slipping away. Mm-hmm. Day 2 was going to be swinging from the fences. Dustin Holland, Bo's dad, told Wired to fish, and swing they did. On the second cast of the day, Bo broke the silence with a small keeper on a drop shot rig. It was a start, but no one could have ever predicted what happened next. Ari put his drop shot down and picked up a Carolina rig. He launched it toward the middle of the lake, and a few long drags, the Denali rod loaded up as he set the hook. Then the water exploded. As the fight began, the fish came up and jumped. It came up and jumped. An 8-pound bass had eaten his Strike King bait. Dustin Holland continued. Bo netted the giant bass, and all of Tennessee probably heard our screams of cheer and emotion.
I bet.
After a quick photo op and readying the line, Ari cast again and immediately landed another keeper. The boys were back in the game. Knowing they had momentum and a shot at redemption, Ari stayed with the Carolina rig. About an hour later, from the exact same spot, he hooked into another beast, a 5-pounder. Bo again netted the fish, and once again, we screamed in joy. Ari would go on to land their 5th keeper and cull several more fish in the final hours.
Jeez.
By weigh-in time, the boys had done the unthinkable, hauling in 6.3 pounds on day 2, bringing their 2-day total to 19.11 pounds. And with that, Bo Hallen and Ari Clark were crowned the 2021 Bassmaster Junior National Champions, making Bo and Ari the youngest anglers ever to win this title. Their win wasn't just dramatic, it was historic. Between 2019 and 2024, Bo and Ari would go on to compete in 6 consecutive Bassmaster Junior National Championships. But 2021 was the lightning in a bottle moment that put them in the record books. And you can see a picture of them with the 8-pounder here. And just a, it's a little bit of an older story, but just kind of a feel-good story, Bobby.
Dude, that's awesome, though. That's freaking great, dude. For young kids like that, my God.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it sounds like they're freaking still at it. I would assume they're probably still at it.
Right.
Learning some lessons on the water, I'm sure. But dude, can you imagine being that age and catching an 8-pound largemouth?
Crazy, dude.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, that is freaking awesome. That's always really good to hear. Man.
Yep.
John Carter jumps in and he says, he goes, I think he's referencing the previous story. He goes, it's one of the reasons why Mass is implementing a boating safety course being a must for all by 2026, I believe. That's exactly what it is. I mean, it's a lot of states already implement that. It's not a terrible idea. I have to go and get that shit done. I'm going to have plenty of time this winter, but
yeah,
it's one of those things. But, and that's, I think at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is just kind of taking responsibility. But man, that was a really good story. That was a nice little pick me up at the end and of such a down note for Alabama,
I know.
I know. Jeez.
Crazy.
I know. Let's go ahead. Why don't we do this, folks? We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we've got our second segment for the show. And what we're talking about, this time of year, a lot of folks, there's Christmas gifts going around. Some folks really want to use this as an opportunity to kind of get into making content. We're going to talk about some tips on making content. Like, why would you even want to? And then what does it really kind of take to get started? And a couple of tips so that it'll actually get you motivated to go and do it. So hopefully we can help you find that motivation and kind of take that first step. But don't go too far. More Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this.
And perhaps play a little game called Just a Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or, ouch, ouch, you're on my hair.
Okay.
Just that tip, baby. Just the tip. But this is a different one. We've been focused a lot lately on the last handful of weeks about, seasonal changes going toward winter, cold water fishing, downsizing, all of these different techniques. And we've been really focused on that. But there's something else that happens this time of year. And we're talking about the holidays, and there's a lot of gift giving going along. And, I don't know about you, Joe. I hear almost every year from somebody that listens to the show, or, it might be a jig head, might be a follower on Instagram. They'll be like, oh yeah, my kids, they got me a GoPro this year. Oh, it's pretty fucking cool. I'm going to make some content. And I'm like, do it. Absolutely do it. And, sometimes that leads to amazing things. Like people are just running with it and making shit happen. Other times, people are just like, they kind of like psych themselves out a little bit sometimes. So what we're going to do is this segment, think about this as like so you want to create fishing content. It's like the Jigs and Bigs sort of how-to guide. So let's talk like from the very beginning, like why even create fishing content in the first place? And some of these are reasons that might actually matter. So the first one I think that everybody always says, and I say this 100% almost all the time, to share the journey, not just the fish. It's about documenting the adventures on the way there, show the real side of fishing, the grind, the lessons, the wins, the skunks. All of that resonates with people, and I think that's fair to say. I think everybody on some level wants to do that. Building a community is another way to do it. Like you get folks that are keyed into one specific thing that you're doing, or they dig your brand of fishing, the way that you either provide value in the form of tips or the way that you entertain them, but you're building a community. Content helps you like find anglers who fish like you, the ones that think like you, and the ones that are going to hype you up. And you're not just posting videos, you're attracting your people. You're building your tribe, Another way, and I don't think this gets enough credit, is to give back to the sport. Everybody talks about to grow the sport, give back. This is a great way to do it. So it could be in the form of tips, could be gear reviews, it could be conditions, like doing a report, it could be specific techniques. Content's going to help new anglers learn faster, and it's going to help experienced anglers see things in a different way. And the other thing is to create opportunities. And this is the one that I think a lot of people think is like a bad word. And I guess it depends to what like level you let this kind of run your content or your life, but that's to create opportunities. And we're talking about like money-making opportunities, sponsorships, partners, events, and even getting recognized at the ramp, all come from consistent content. Sometimes being recognized at the ramp is not great. And I'm not speaking from my specific, perspective, Joe. You've been recognized at the ramp before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right. But there are some folks that are very polarizing. It cannot be a great thing. So take that into consideration. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's one of those things like that is part of it. You create content. And if you have, a following and people turn to you for your content, that's going to attract things like sponsors and partnerships. And those things might allow you, even if you don't go full time and, work full time making content or anything, it can open up doors to other adventures that maybe you wouldn't have crossed your path in the beginning. I think a good example of that is when we had Caleb Wistad hooked up Wisconsin on, and he was talking about how because he started doing YouTube and creating fishing content on YouTube and on Instagram, that led to him actually fishing and developing a friendship with Al Lindner. Like that's fucking amazing. Crazy. For a Midwest guy, that's wild,
Yeah. It's nuts.
So it's like the fact that he's like, I can, I've learned things from, Al, and that I would never have happened if this didn't, and also like the opportunity, like I'll use him as an example again, like developing that tip up from clam, it's just, it puts you in a position where like you have some opportunity and you can really push that creativity and go with it. He's a really, really great example. And then, of course, you know, there is, and I think Debo actually kind of like tipped me off to this reason for doing content was to track your progress. Like, this is especially good. Take advantage. If you're a new angler, you know, Brandon, New Jersey, NJ BFS gang. I just did a segment with him on YouTube. He's only been fishing for a year and now he's getting into content. You can't get that opportunity to get that green content of you learning stuff ever again. Like once you've learned it, it's not fresh anymore. You know what I mean? So you might as well make content of that journey, that process of learning, developing your skills and stuff like that. So use that video as like a little snapshot in time, you know, of how you advanced. When you get your PBs, like that's awesome. And new gear, travel, any wild cast that, you know, you swear you could never recreate, like shit like that. So that goes out really, really good. And then the other thing is to stand out in what is really a very small and crowded industry. So everyone's posting fish pictures. Fewer people are telling stories, teaching, entertaining, or bringing their own personality to fishing. And I think you got to remember that, like that there are a bunch of different reasons to create content in the first place. And if any of if those or there's others that resonate with you, if you're hearing this, that is reason enough to give it a shot. What do you say, Joe?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So like, and if it's not just for content,
yeah,
you know, like the example you use with I got a GoPro for Christmas.
Yep, exactly.
I know Bobby does it. I do it. Even if you're not posting content, there's been so many times to where I've been able to use videos to see what I did right, and what I did wrong.
You just gave me made a really good point.
You know, when it comes to hook sets or whatever, you know, I'll go back and, you know, I'll be like, oh, you know, like what went wrong with this, with this hook set, or, you know, how did this fish, you know, jump my bait, like right next to the boat or something like that. And that's where video is, where that content creation comes in helpful, you know, for you as an angler.
Oh yeah.
You know, like if you have to think back and go back, like, oh man, that, like me, like, oh man, that, you know, 6, you know, almost 7 pounder I caught that day. Like what were the conditions that morning? Like, and you can go back and I can see, I can remember the exact spot I was in, the clarity of the water that day, the cloud cover, the temperature, like all of it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's if it's not for like, if you don't want to get into the work of like the actual, like starting a channel or a social media, whatever, get that camera out and learn as an angler from your mistakes, from your wins, and, you know, go back. You can go back and look and be like, oh, what bait was I using that day on those conditions? I wasn't catching shit. I don't remember. You can go back and look, be like, okay, maybe I should use that bait this time, and vice versa. There
is another thing that cameras are huge with, and this kind of gets into that controversy of having in catch photo release tournaments. You know, I was listening to an episode of, I don't know if it was Serious Angler or if it actually might have been where Bailey was on Tackle Talk. I was listening to, because they recently did an episode where they did a bunch of like hot takes, and they were talking about like, you know, their experiences tournament fishing. And in there, Bailey had mentioned, he's like, yeah, there's a couple of instances where he's like, I've submitted fish, and there were people that had a hair across their ass that had seen these entries go in, and they're like, I don't believe that kid's cheating, blah, 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 blah. But because he had a camera basically recording the entire scene of what was going on, and he had cast to catch of those, the tournament directors were like, yeah, well, we're going to see the video footage, so don't worry about it, you know? And it's a great way to stifle an argument if you're in a tournament situation and somebody's like, oh, hey, you know, there's this fish seems a little bit off or whatever. And you're like, I've got the cast to catch right here. You know, and there you go. It's like, it's just another little insurance policy. It's a whole lot harder to DQ a fish as a tournament director if somebody's just like, oh, there was a problem with this entry or went in weird or something, or somebody's questioning it. Let me squash that now. And, you know, maybe the angle's going to be shit and it's not going to make your argument. But if you can show up and you're like, here's the clip. And then people can see it for themselves and make their own decision. It's one more thing you can do. So I think you're absolutely right, Joe. Like, just utilizing a camera is fantastic. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. It's 100%. Like, just go with it, grow with it, and make it happen. But now, like, the big thing is, this is where I think people stumble, is like, well, how do I get started? And then there's people that are just like, how do I get started? And I also don't want to break the bank, you know? So let's talk about the equipment, and we're going to go through like all of it. And, you know, we're going to talk about what is really, really necessary, like what you really need to get going and do it at a level that it's like, it's right, you know? So you don't need like a full Hollywood production setup or anything like that. You already have, holding in your hand or in your pocket, probably right now, your smartphone. You know, most modern phones right now are all going to shoot 4K video. They have pretty decent stabilization, and they'll plug right into simple editing apps. You know, you don't need anything super crazy, like just a simple camera where you have the ability to go with a really wide angle to be able to collect stuff, you know, and get that full frame. That's your smartphone is super powerful, and odds are it's got a ton of storage, and you can manage that storage. So if you're going out, you don't have to shoot a full day's worth of content or anything like that on one straight video. Just do it in bits. As soon as there's some action, start rolling. Then, you know, on top of that, there's action cameras. These are probably the most popular that people think of when they're like, oh, I want to create fishing content. And I'm talking about like your GoPro, DJI, Insta cameras, like all that stuff. These are your cameras that are going to run, that are going to have that really wide angle. Lots of times they're going to be waterproof. That is until you start using some accessories with them, like microphones and things. You might, you know, so be careful with some of that stuff. But like even the older, you know, if you're going back 5 years or so, like I've got my GoPro is a Hero 7 Black. It's nothing special, but it shoots 4K, you know, and it definitely does the job. Like an action camera is a great place to start. If you're just like, you can't necessarily just start with your smartphone, but keep this in mind. You have two cameras then. Your phone is one, and then the action camera would be another one. And that gives you more to play with, at least something to keep in mind. The other thing about the action cameras is like you can mount them to a specific spot. You can put them on the boat where you get a good angle. Put them on your kayak on a pole behind you, or right in front of you if you want that angle. Whatever it is that you want, you put it around so that it works for you. If you're a bank angler, you got chest mounts, hat mounts. You put them on consoles of gear. You can put one on the net for a net cam, stuff like that. And then another good tip of a piece of equipment would be some kind of a tripod or a clamp, or like something that does double duty. And that's going to help you do like your stable, like talking to the camera shots. If you want to shoot like an unboxing or show a rig or demonstrate something, like that's going to help you actually get that done. One thing to know is that audio definitely matters more than video. 100% it does. Because you can show somebody some video that doesn't look great, but if it sounds like garbage, they're just going to click off and they're not going to pay attention. It's just the way that it is. But even the cheapest lavalier mic or USB mic is going to make you instantly sound better than about 90% of beginner creators that are out there. So putting that little bit of effort in there and saying like, I'm going to get this wireless clip-on mic that connects via Bluetooth or whatever it might be is something. If you're using your phone and you've got wireless earbuds, pop one in your ear, and some of these models will work as a mic, you know, and you pop that in and record with your camera, and then you've got a wireless mic right there. You've got tons of range. So that's something to keep in mind. Some other optional stuff that you can look into would be like, you know, I don't even want to say like buying a drone necessarily, but like drone footage. So like if you can even find somebody who can shoot this stuff for you, if they have a drone and then you're like, I've got, a cool, like there's a spot that I fish all the time and I want this footage, utilize that. It might cost you a few bucks for their time or something like that. Or if you have a friend that's got a drone, go and do that. A gimbal is really helpful for shore walking or vlog style stuff. So if you're going from spot to spot, like a gimbal is going to keep that nice smooth stuff. A gimbal also makes your B-roll look really great. You don't need to worry about that right now, but it does make it look really great. Portable lights, if you're filming indoors, like some type of lighting kit is really helpful. A lot of folks actually where I'm in the disco dungeon right now, I have one of those O lights in front of me, one of the ring lights. And it's actually got a camera mount right in the middle. I could put a camera right there if I wanted, but that's how I light myself up here is just with that. And I think I paid like 30 or 40 bucks for that light. It's nothing spectacular. In fact, I don't know if you guys can pick this up, but it is flickering a little bit. Can you see that, Joe?
Only now that you said
something. Only now that I said something. Yeah. I've had this light for like 5 years and it's never been shut off. Like this light never goes off. It's LED.
That's great. I have one like that in my bait dungeon as well.
Yep. And I mean, they work great and you can get them really small too and like really compact, but they're helpful. They do the job. I like this because I can plug it in, but maybe you want to, get lights that are battery powered. And this way you can, put them anywhere you want. You don't have to worry about, plugging them in. That's helpful. That's something else. Power banks are huge. So like, using like the Nockwell power bank, I would use forever. I use that sucker to power my cameras all the time. I prefer to run my action cameras off of an external battery instead of the internal battery that comes with it, simply because it is less likely to overheat. I find that that's a big deal. You don't need all, the key thing here is that you don't need all of these accessories. It's just that you want to start someplace, work with what you've got, and then evolve as you grow. And here's the spoiler alert. That too is content. So if you start adding in different elements, people are going to notice this, and it gives you something that you can kind of riff on and get really flex that creative muscle a little bit. But the gear is only one thing. I got to be honest with you. I think this next setup here, or this next category, is what is the thing where people are like, I got the camera, I don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? It's the skills to develop, to get started. There's some pretty simple stuff. Storytelling, a lot of people think like, oh, I've got to be some really good writer and I've got to write everything. With fishing content, like I'm sure that there are creators out there that write everything down. I'm not that guy. And I think it maybe shows in my content too that I'm not that guy. I realize that, but I do have notes of like, this is where I'm going. These are the types of things I'm hoping to check off as far as like a list of things. So like I might be going and fishing. It might, like for instance, my notes would be, let's look at a slot limit series. Okay. I might be going out on a day and I'm fishing a slot limit tournament or a multi-species scavenger hunt, right? The scavenger hunt's easier for me to make the point with because it's multiple days. So I will have notes and I'll say like, okay, so it's Tuesday. I am going to target trout. I'm going to this body of water. And I am going to be fishing from this section to this section, and I'll have a plan of attack. It's more about like, how am I going to fish this and what am I looking for? Obviously, I want to get all the catches, but like the day I caught all those trout at the Swift for the October Scavenger Hunt Open, I didn't put all those catches in there because they were boring. You know what I mean? It was like the same like 9-inch brown trout over and over. Like, they were just clones. So I put a couple of them in there to kind of like mix it up and kind of tell the story. But it was like, it is what it was. So that's like, having some notes like that. A good way to structure is to think like, I'm going to put something together and like this, I'm talking editing now. It's like, you want something that's going to hook people in. Like give them a little taste of what's coming up, some kind of action. So that might be educational for you. It might be like, oh, look, we've created our own crankbait, or it could be something where it's entertainment based and you want to show somebody the beginnings of a big laugh. something like that. Whatever it might be, you want to give them a little taste early on to keep them watching. And then it's all about building it up and then giving them the payoff. You know, the
money shot,
if you will. You knew I was going to go there. This works for, you know, full-length fishing videos, shorts, TikTok clips, you name it. As far as filming basics go, you want to frame yourself well. You want to avoid shooting into the sun. I do this all the time, and it happens because I'm on a boat and the boat's going to turn and I'm going to be talking and the shit just happens. But if you can avoid it, don't have the sun behind you. So it's like just flushing everything out. Get a mix of wide shots, close-ups, and then B-roll. And for those of you that are like, what the fuck is B-roll, Bobby Roast Beef? B-roll is that stuff that's like the pretty shit that you're going to cut away to. You know, if you've got a talking head that's going on for 5 minutes about something, you saw me do this in my rod arsenal video where I would be going on and on and on about a rod, and I didn't have necessarily B-roll of that rod, but I did have B-roll of me using that rod. So catching a fish on that. So I would cut to that, or I would just change and zoom in. I would cut a clip and then take a section and zoom in to give some type of visual change to make it feel like it was moving along somewhere. You know, that's going to help you. Just having the footage and not using it all is better than not having it in the beginning. Capture the transitions too, like simple stuff like driving to the lake. You know, get some footage of like moving somewhere because that will help tell the story. You know, maybe you're jumping in at the beginning, and I do this all the time. I'll start a video where it'll be like a vlog. I'm in the truck or I'm on the boat and I'm tying something on or something like that. And I'm like, here's what we're going to do. And then it cuts to that next thing. And it might be the boat taking off. It might be me launching the boat and then taking off. It could just be stuff that's on the road. And maybe I forgot to film the rest of the launch stuff, but then I just go to that first catch, you know, something like that. You can be very creative with it. And then, you know, your editing fundamentals. Nobody's expecting you to like create, you know, like the next Hollywood blockbuster right out of the gate. Like nobody is expecting that at all. Simple edits, cuts, master the cut. Just cut out the crap and get like, you know what I mean? Shorten it up. And, you know, when I was in college for this shit, jump cuts were a bad thing. Now it's a technique people build their fucking careers on. You know what I mean? Like it's so what was yesterday was the faux pas could easily be the trend in the future. So like if you have to break some rules, go ahead. You know, I mean, it's better to get it out and then learn from it and then go, you know, down the line. Captions are always really good. The nice thing is now we've got all these tools that you can use to do captions much, much easier. Text overlays are awesome. Great way to engage people. So there was a short time where I was going out and doing a video and I would be fishing. I would be changing from combo to combo or bait to bait. And I would do this Gear Geek thing where the graphics would come in and move over. That shit's not hard to do. It just takes a little bit of work, and I don't know. If you guys want a course, I could put something together to kind of do that. Let's see, what else do I have on my list? Text overlays and color correction. I don't generally worry about that. Joe, do you do much for like color correction on your stuff?
No, not correction. I'll do it for mood type thing once in a while for a certain scene or whatever.
Yeah.
Whether I want to brighten or, you know, darken the mood. But when it comes to correction, the only time I've ever done it was, I wouldn't say color it. Like you said, if it was a scene I really liked, but I was like you mentioned, the boat was in the sun or something.
Yep.
I might try to correct it so you can see a catch a little bit better or something like that.
Yeah, so you get like the starburst off the glitter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
that makes
Outside
sense.
of that, dude, I don't fuck with the colors.
Gotcha.
I like to keep it as natural as I can.
And that on itself is a wicked strategy. Like there are some times where I'll change the colors where I'm like, I'll be honest with you, I'm a New Englander, man, and our foliage is fucking amazing. But sometimes when you look at it on video, you're like, wow, that looks so washed out. Like it just looks so blah. Like I will go and tweak a couple of things to give it a little bit of spice, make it look so that when people see that shit, they're just like, oh God, where the fuck does he live? This is beautiful, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
get it.
It's New England, you know?
It's New England.
And this is the other thing too. There's a lot of people that are just like, oh, I don't know what to do on camera. So here's the deal. You don't have to even do shit on camera. You could ignore the camera and do what you want and do this in silence if you wanted. Nobody's telling you that you have to be a narrator for your own story. You know what I mean? If that isn't you naturally, don't do it that way. You'll find a way to make it work. Maybe it's just a bunch of background music with some nat sound. You know, I would still recommend you getting a different microphone just to collect that sound. You'll thank me for it. Go and do that. But here's a couple of tips for if you're just like what you ultimately want to do involves you being a personality on camera. I'm going to give you the biggest tip for any kind of like speaking on camera, public speaking, and in front of a crowd, anything like that. Be yourself, but a little bit louder and clearer. Make sure that you smile and then speak with intention. The best thing you can do for yourself is just pretend you're answering a buddy's question. It's really, and between that and repetition, you'll eventually get comfortable with it. You won't even think about it. Yeah, I think that's probably the best advice I could give you. Like, just be you, slightly louder, a little bit clearer. You don't have to do the,
hey, what's up, guys? It's Kyle here, and I'm fishing, and I'm going to catch these things. Dark holes tackle fucking rule.
You don't have to be that guy. You can be yourself. And it's, trust me, the authenticity, and you're going to hear that a lot in the creative space, the authenticity is way more meaningful because you can't make that synthetically. It's got to be organic. It's got to come from you. And now as far as, so that's like speaking on camera, like just practice, you know? And as far as like, you know, writing like hooks, you'll hear this term a lot too. Writing a hook, you know, getting in. And when I mentioned you structure your content, how you do a hook, a buildup, and then a payoff, your hook is a headline. Think of it like that. Don't think of it as clickbait. It's a headline, okay? What you're doing is you're giving somebody a little sample. You're like that little old lady at Costco that's trying to feed you mozzarella sticks so that you'll buy a box of them. And you don't need 16 dozen mozzarella sticks, but you're going to try them, and then you're going to make a bad decision. But what it gets down to when it comes to your hook for your content is that 3 to 5 second window. It matters a ton. And it actually matters even more on the short form content than it does on the long form. So if you're creating stuff primarily for TikTok or Instagram or YouTube shorts, that 3 to 5 seconds is a big deal. You get a little bit longer with a long form video. You get maybe 10 seconds, maybe, you know, but really, when somebody's scrolling and they just land on your video, you've got like realistically 3 or 4 seconds it's going to get them. So a hook might be like, we're about to find out if this bait is totally overhyped. Or I made a huge mistake on the water today. That builds intrigue. Or then you say, you know, for another example could be like, listen, this spot shouldn't have fish, but check this out. Like that is something that will like, it sets the stage and people are asking, okay, so what's going to happen? You know, in my mind, when they're watching my videos, I think they're thinking,
okay, asshole, what you got?
That's the way I think about this. How do you practice? Because I mentioned that right there when it came to like being yourself and your on-camera presence and all that. How do you practice? So, you know, if you're doing stuff at home, you know, you could practice by doing like small tip videos, knot tying videos, gear reviews, all that stuff. It's a great way to go ahead and get started. Offline practice is stuff that you're not going to post. You could talk to your camera or phone during like pre-fishing trips. Even if you don't upload that footage, you know, like just talking to your camera and then going through and reviewing it and saying like, I hate this. How can I work on this? And then, you know, come up with some exercises to kind of like, you know, either put your head in the right, or sometimes even just knowing and acknowledging that you have something to work on is enough for you to just kind of work it out in practice. Short form platforms are awesome too. to practice creating your content. So whether it's Instagram or TikTok or using YouTube Shorts, those are low pressure sort of training grounds. The feedback is really quick, easier to post, a smaller commitment in time. And then you could always do your uploads as private. Record your upload, leave it as private, and you can watch it yourself and then figure out what you think. Or you can do it as unlisted and share it with a few friends and get some feedback. Stuff like that. Now, what do you think? Joe, now, you and I have had conversations before, like when we've done the live shows before, and you're like, man, I gotta have a couple of drinks before we get in here and do this. When you're on camera, like you seem super natural in your videos.
Yeah, it's different. It's so for me, it's like I don't like public speaking, I guess is the best way.
Okay.
So it's like, the live show and stuff like that. I get like the nerves, but dude, on camera, like you nailed it. I feel like I can be myself when I'm on the camera, when it's just me.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. Yeah, I think that's what I like about it the most.
Have you done any like practicing or anything like that?
No.
See, I have, but it's just my job.
Yeah. So the only time I'll practice is if I'm doing like I have a couple of videos in the shoot that I'm getting ready to do. And I kind of have scripts for that. I not so much scripts, but just so I don't miss points, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like scripted, because they are more educational versus just me out fishing. And so in that aspect, I do practice my lines,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's good.
But so when I get into that talking head, which I'll probably have quite a few talking head videos coming up. I've already started. It's just getting out there, editing them and getting them out.
Yep.
But dude, there's so many different platforms to like set up. I mean, yeah. It's nuts.
We have a bunch of comments coming in from jig heads, and I'm going to get to all of those, but I want to get through this little outline first. We got a couple more sections, really just one more section to get through. So like your overall tips for like trying to get some inspiration. Think of this as like
the Jigs and Bigs philosophy of creation.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, don't wait for the perfect day, the perfect trip, the perfect anything. It could be windy, rainy, a tough bite. The reminder is that all of those things are content. And a content creator that I've been lucky enough, because that's one thing that this position of Jigs and Bigs and getting me into this space, I've met a ton of content creators and a veritable ton. And I've picked brains of everybody. And I've been really lucky to learn that some of the best videos are the ones where it is the biggest challenge. You know what I mean? So like if it's dumping rain, like the potential of failure is huge. And somehow people are like, they just want to see that. Like, and I don't even mean like they're being like dicks, like they're rooting for you to fail. It's more of like, how the fuck are you going to get through this? Like that kind of shit is cool. That's all content. So show your struggles. And real is going to beat like perfection all the time. It totally, totally will. Show more than the hook set. People, they connect with your decisions. So you want to just, instead of being like, oh, this is an absolute giant and that's it, tell them why you selected that bait, that spot, that retrieve, that cadence, that specific jig, whatever it is. Like, how did you get to that decision? Because that's going to add value. You're adding more to it. It's less than just the hook set. I mean, your content could just be a bunch of hook set videos. You might be making compilations of that shit. There's value there too, But if that's not your goal, is just to show that stuff, like show more of it, add more value that way. And again, make it, using that term value, like a lot of folks think fishing videos, and I'm sure, Joe, you've probably run into this. I mean, shit, as content consumers, I'm sure we have, where we're looking for answers in these videos. Like I can remember rifling through YouTube, looking for videos about fall fishing the St. Lawrence River.
We all saw where that got me, huh?
You know, it's like you put all of this effort in and you assume that people they want to learn something, but don't write off just entertaining somebody. You know what I mean? Like they might just for whatever reason really enjoy the stuff that you do. They might like I've got content creators that I follow that like primarily target other species that I target periodically. You know what I mean? And they fish in totally different parts of the country. They have a totally different sort of outlook, but I dig what they're doing so much that I'm like, it's almost like I'm invested in it. You know what I mean? Like it's a source of entertainment. So education or entertainment or just inspiration. I'll tell you, one of the best comments I ever got on one of my videos, and I think it was the boat purchase video, or it was one of them from that first few months where I was, everything was just boat, you know? And there was somebody who was like, yeah, I was looking at buying, I was in between a couple of different models and I decided to go with the Angler because just seeing your setup, it fits exactly what I have in mind. And I'm just like, holy shit. Because I was like able to have an impact on this individual making a decision about like where their fishing journey was going to go regarding gear. It was really cool, you know? So your content really needs to deliver at least like if we're going to break it down into just 3 different segments of value, those are good ones. Entertainment, education, inspiration. It should deliver at least on one of those. More than likely, it's going to deliver on all of them in some sort of a ratio relationship. You know, it might lean heavy on entertainment, but there's going to be that nugget of gold of wisdom that you're going to share every so often, or you just going through your journey might send somebody on their own journey. Consistency is better than being constant. So doing a video every single week is going to be doing 10 videos in just a short burst of time and then dropping it for a month. And then keep the camera rolling. You know, some of the best moments are going to happen when you weren't necessarily planning anything and it just kind of occurs and you're like, holy shit, I got that. Like, I know if Benny is still in here, he knows what I'm talking about. Like sometimes that camera's just rolling. You're like, holy shit, I got it. You know, adding that second camera on my boat for me was for exactly that. When the shit goes down, I'm like, it's on camera. You know, let's see. What else do we have here? Make short form your sneaky superpower. So utilize that short form platform to grow fast, you know, and then try to funnel that audience toward your long form YouTube videos. Instagram followers, I'm talking to you guys. If we could get you to come over to the YouTube and just subscribe, that'd be fucking sweet. Lean heavily into your personality. Fishing content is saturated, but the thing that makes it different is you. You're not everywhere. Your personality isn't, you know, necessarily saturated at all. You know, there's only one you technically. So humor, the frustration, the weird stories, if you're ranting about gear or whatever, if you have a nomenclature, like we call them Jigs and Bigs isms, you know, shit like nibblers and what else the other stupid ones that we've got. Of course I'm forgetting. Oh, the birch tree stuff. That's part of our nomenclature. Shit like that. Those are going to be like your signature moves, you know, and you can kind of build and people they start using that same kind of conversation or mentioning it in the comments. You're doing it right. You know, you're setting it up. So they're connecting with you, you know, be yourself, lean in on that personality hard, and then don't chase the trends so much as adapt them. Like sometimes I get it. Like sometimes you're just like, I got to copy this just to see if it's going to work. But at the best effects are going to come from when you get inspiration from an idea or a trend and then find a way to make it work the best for what you do, you know? So maybe you're not dumping a bucket of ice on your head for a charity necessarily, and you're spoofing something, you know, you just kind of lean in and genuinely in an authentic way, make it fit what you're doing. You can also do things like using trending audio. That'll help. Even if you bury the music down in the background, sometimes that's enough for things to get like picked up where it's just getting seen a little bit more. But, you definitely make it fishing specific for sure. You can also recast popular formats. So like a day in the life or a what's in my bag or top 5 mistakes, because your experience with that is going to be different than every single other creator that's out there. You'll have some sort of secret sauce that you use that makes that your recipe. And seeing that through your personal angler lens is going to add to your overall value. And then celebrate the small wins. Your first 10 subscribers are going to be, they're actually going to matter just as much as when you first hit 10,000. They're the ones that believed in you early, and they're the ones, especially the ones that have been there the whole time and they're in the comments and they're engaging with you. They're the ones that really mean the most, Let's jump into some of these questions because there's a couple of good ones in here, like really, really good ones. Let's see what we got. Cheryl right here she says, I super struggle with sound. I need all the pointers. So, Cheryl, go ahead and you can comment in there and let us know what it is that you're using to record with on, as far as your camera. Are you using like a DSLR or like a mirrorless camera? Are you using an action camera? Or are you using, like, if you're using a phone too? I mean, all that stuff kind of goes together. What do we see here? And then Todd says Hollyland mics are on sale on Amazon right now. Hell yeah, baby. I freaking love those. Let's see what we got. She says, I never looked into how external mics relate to a GoPro or DJI basic, but seems intimidating. So I have both GoPro and DJI. My DJI camera I use on my at the transom. There's a mount there on a pole, and it's up high and it gives that wide angle. I rarely use the audio from there unless, like, Binya or somebody is on the back casting deck and they're talking, and my main audio gets recorded on my GoPro, which is mounted directly to my windshield right behind me. And I have a media kit that there's a like a housing that goes around the camera. It's just a replacement one. And there's a spot where this is like a USB dongle that has an audio input, like a headphone jack input, and it has another USB to charge. I plug in my cable to run the camera on the USB-C, and then I have on my mics, I wish I had them down here. I could just show you the receiver. But on my mics, I have a clip, the receiver, that there's a small patch cable that goes and connects those two headphone jacks, one right into the other, and then I take the wireless mic and they automatically connect. They just automatically connect. There's a little indicator light, lets me know it's going good, and we're good to go. DJI does have their own mic system, which is built in directly. You don't need, from what I understand, you don't need a receiver for it. So like using like the mics that I use are those Hollyland Lark M2s. And they're great. They're cheap. They work really, really well, actually, as long as you don't drop them off the boat into the water. That's about when they stop working, but and they do pretty good. Yeah, I was surprised, actually. I did have some issues recently when I was out in the cold. The batteries just didn't want to stay running when it was like really cold, but that's just something to keep in mind. I would say let's talk about your camera setup and what you're doing and see what we can figure out, because anything that you do, and if you're in a kayak and you've got a chest mount GoPro, you probably don't even need a wireless mic. You could probably buy the cheap lav that goes right in, and you'd probably be good to go with that. Let's see what else. Todd says, I YouTube everything. I know nothing as well. I'm telling you, it's the second largest search engine in the world. Right? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Cheryl says GoPro and Samsung phone. Bought a DJI, haven't tried it yet. So with the GoPro, yeah, there is a piece of equipment. It's a small dongle, and it basically what it is, it plugs into the USB-C on your GoPro, and it's a splitter essentially. And I'll send you the some Amazon links from when I ordered this. This is a couple years ago, but it works great. The audio is super clean. I haven't had any issues with it. But what I do is I record all of my audio on one camera. And then I take that audio, and when I edit it, I basically edit off of that. And then anything else that I need, I just insert almost as B-roll. from that rear camera. Insta360 is Type-C for their microphone, Todd. For their microphone, I haven't used an Insta360 in any real capacity in a long time, like probably like 2017, 2018, maybe. It's been a while. Yeah. Insta360 Type-C for the mics. No kidding. So that's a USB mic. I mean, it's all. I would also say, like, if you have questions about your specific camera, utilize ChatGPT for that shit. Because they'll go through all of the fucking manuals and stuff and get all that information, Yeah, I will. I'll definitely send you some stuff, Cheryl. Like, what about you, Joe? Like, I love the point that you made about learning from your stuff afterwards, like going back and being able to, learn from it.
Yeah, obviously, I have a YouTube channel, do the content. I'm the one that everyone, I'm also taking pointers from this because, like, when I fucked up my thumb, dude, I was just like, fuck this, dude. Like, I was just so pissed.
That's
like,
totally
the YouTube channel drops off, the Instagram, and I'm just like sitting in my corner. I take my ball, I go home, and I just sit in the corner and pout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah, but, I got some more time on my hands again. Like, it's coming back. And Bobby, I got into a little bit of something else as well.
Oh. What's this?
You remember Whatnot?
Yes.
You remember Whatnot?
Yes.
Some of you listeners remember Whatnot.
I thought you were going to say OnlyFans. I thought that's where you were going.
I'm not telling you guys about that one.
All right. Good. I don't want to know.
Turns out I don't have good looking feet, Bobby. I don't know. Dude, I did my first show for selling on Whatnot the other night.
That's crazy.
And it went extremely well. It was fun. It was a blast. Dude, I just sell a ton of JD. So I get all my JDM stuff from Japan. I have tackle shops and people I know out there that this stuff ships straight from Japan for me. I cut out the middleman. There you go. And dude, and that stuff is just there's just such a high demand for it right now, and it was crazy, dude. I did that show. I had a blast with it. I told Matt, I was like, this was fun. Like, I made some money, and then I that money I made, I already put it towards another order in Japan. I'm gonna do it again, dude.
That's awesome, dude.
Like, I already placed the order. Dude, it was fun. I had a blast. It's one thing to sit here and like bid on stuff, but like to actually be the seller, it was a good time. I had Jackson and Emma down there with me behind the scenes. Like, I was marking down each thing that got bought with the item number. I handed it to them, and they were setting it aside in specific order. So like when I go to ship it out, it would be easier.
It would be the right thing. Yeah.
And
dude,
it was great. Jackson and I spent like 2 hours last night, printing labels and packing everything up. Now I just got to bring it to the post office. But dude, awesome. It was fun, man. It was fun. I had a blast.
And I mean, like, you want to talk about that is very much a adding value to your content thing. You know what I mean? Because people are like, number one, it's like, dude, everybody there's a reason why auctions are popular.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's a reason. Like eBay wasn't like I wonder if this is going to work. You know what I mean? Like, they know,
Yep.
The idea of possibly getting a deal on some stuff, but also the excitement of it. It's almost like gambling in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, but it's
that's exactly what it's like.
It's a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're on there, dude. Oh, wow. So I could see you putting together like a whole thing and like, like a table and being like, all right, you're like the next Billy Mays, dude.
Dude, I know it was. Oh, dude, I had to, Billy Mays, my son. Dude, I had a blast with it. I had a good time. Like I said, I've already got more stuff on the way right from Japan.
That's awesome.
And here's where it gets into the content creation. I just ordered stickers that has like the name of my channels on it that I'm going to put in the boxes when I ship them out.
That's a wicked good idea. And actually, like I assume you're like, hey, make sure to go follow American Vet Fishing.
I did it like twice.
Yeah.
And I saw I got at least a couple followers on each one. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it was fun.
You might have fucking found your niche.
Yeah, dude. Like next time you're gonna have to like tune in just to see it, you know. And who's that? Where's
Cheryl? She goes, I just signed up for Whatnot last week. Super overwhelming. Where to begin? Squirrel.
Yeah. So it's dude. I had Emma sit next to me the other day. Whatnot. And have you heard of those Labubu things?
Oh yeah.
So she's obsessed with Labubus, and they have a bunch of people selling them on there.
Oh yeah.
So like,
they do.
She's like, can I watch this on your phone? I was like, absolutely not. I was like, all I could see is her going, bloop, swipe, bid.
Like a $10,000 Labubu goes over. It's not
so I was
working.
like, hell no, you cannot.
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah. But no, man, had a good time with it. You know, you guys, any of you guys that are on Whatnot, I'm on as same American Vet Fishing. So, you know, follow me. And I don't know when the next show is going to I'll probably do a pop-up one this week and then or this weekend. So I got to get my inventory up. You know what I mean?
That's exactly
but it takes like 2 weeks for that shit to come in from Japan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You need the inventory, obviously. And then you got to figure, like, if you're grouping stuff up, like, there's planning, you know?
Yep.
No, that's freaking awesome.
I did, was it 54 items?
54 items?
54. It took me about an hour and a half.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I got a lot of shit to bring to the post office, dude, in little ass North Brookfield, Mass, where it's one person working. I'm going to walk in there tomorrow, the next day. Dude, I have them in a giant tote. They're going to be so fucking mad.
They're going to be so pissed at you, and you're doing
but
this
it's already all paid
Christmas.
for. They just got to scan it and put it in the back.
Yeah,
dude.
that's
It's already all paid for. Like,
yeah, that does make it very, very easy. But shit, dude, that's wild.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun.
Well, we are this is the longest Just the Tip I think we've ever had here.
I think so.
Why don't we go ahead and we'll jump right into the live well, and we'll wrap this sucker up, man, because man, this is going.
Hi there. Welcome to the Live Well, where we crack open a ramp beer and attempt to answer all of your burning questions.
Full spectrum live rosin. That's all I'm saying. We have only one call this week in the live well. Only one. And it's if you had to put money on it, Joe, who do you think this call is from?
The E-Live well?
Hey, it's Eli with Question for the Live Well. As you guys you're approaching your 300th episode, I was curious to see what things have surprised you about the podcast. What things what some unexpected challenges about the podcast, and then what's some things that keep you going, keep you from being burnt out about the podcast.
This one was when I knew that this question was coming, and once I started reading it, like in the transcript, I swiped away. I was like, nope, I want to do this.
Yeah,
I want to do this raw, naturally, exactly. And now I'm wishing I thought about it.
You want me to go first?
Why don't you go first? Because this has been a lot.
Okay, so what were the three parts to it again? So surprises, challenges, and burnouts. So the surprises, I'll be 100% honest, is being is people knowing who I am.
Yeah.
When I go to either whether it's expos, just at the ramp or whatever, that's been surprising, super humbling. And just seeing the podcast having a fan base and being a part of that.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's what's surprising. Again, super humbling. What was this? The challenges. I think the biggest challenge that we have, or that I have, is one, scheduling, because Bobby and I are both busy people.
Yeah.
So it's trying to, and that's why, that's why we haven't been able to, that's why the days switch up. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it.
I understand that can be hard for the jig heads who watch us live and everything.
Definitely.
And, we're apologetic for that, but it's just, Bobby has his career on the outside, his life on the outside, and so don't I. So it just is what it is. And, we make it work. And on the other aspect of that is consistency. Bobby has put out a show every single week since this podcast has started, and that is absolutely insane. Like, I've had to take weeks off, obviously. Wasn't the and I'm sure that'll happen again. And just that consistency can be a little challenging.
Yep.
But when it comes to things from burning out, the show, I don't ever get burnt out from the show, because I'm talking about like the things I love. I guess the only thing that could, there has been a couple times where Bobby and I both have just been like either so burnt out physically or mentally from something else that went on during the day.
Yep.
That, or maybe, being under the weather, being sick or whatever. And we're just like, oh fuck, still gotta record the podcast tonight. So you might not, you might not get our 100%, attention or, personalities or whatever. But no, I wouldn't say the show itself is a burnout situation, because, I'm still, especially now with it being winter, I'm still able to dabble in the thing that I love the most. So
it's wild, dude. Like, I think I agree. Like, with everything that you just said, now I'm trying to build off of them. So like, I think the one thing that's kind of surprised me about this, and I was initially, this was like my knee jerk reaction, but like after you started going over your three, I'm like, yes, 100%. I was like, but it kind of makes sense with what I'm about to say. So when I started the podcast, I had wanted to do like some kind of content. This isn't my first podcast. I've had several podcasts where I've either talked about music. I did multiple ones about trivia. I've done one that was like a local like show, like a regional, like North New England thing, with my buddy Jimmy. Like, and it was just, I was always putting pressure on somebody else to play a role. You know what I mean? To be involved. Like, oh yeah, well, hey, just bring guests to the table. I'll handle all this shit, blah, 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 blah. Just do this portion or whatever. And with this, it was one of these things where I was like, I know the failure rate of podcasts. They usually say most podcasts don't make it to, I think, 6 episodes. Is what they say. And I was like, I really want to make some kind of fishing content. And I'm like, I'm leaning toward podcast, but I'm going to commit to it. And then the fucking pandemic happened. And I had the time. And I think it is the weirdest shit to say, but had that never happened, I don't know that I would have done it. And I wouldn't have done it with the dedication that I put into it. Because it amazes me that we're coming up on 6 years of the show. It amazes, like, I can't believe we're still here doing it. Now so it was the thing that surprised me, right? And then the challenge, right? And then what was the keeping from burnout?
Yep.
So I would say, like, as far as like things that are challenging, it's like, I gotta agree 100%. Like, schedule is just nuts. If I could do this, and that was kind of my goal. I remember when I first started, like Bill and Kenny and even Delirious, they would joke and they would say shit like, "Oh yeah, this is Bobby's retirement plan," and I'm like, fuck, man. Yeah. If that's one thing, like I am really genuinely trying to be as authentic with this as possible, because I really do want to retire doing this, I love hosting game shows and I love officiating weddings and all that stuff is fantastic, but I would love to just be able to generate content, you know what I'm saying? And entertain people, and do this. Like that would be my biggest thing. The biggest challenge is that like the schedule, the real life, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So there's some decisions that need to get made, you know, and I'm putting the work in so that I can make that decision, because I would love to be able to set some time away and stuff. And it's gotten to the point now where like I say the challenge, like it's hindered the growth of the show, because one of the things, like we talked about this, we talked about the, how there's this overwhelming demand. Everybody wants Jigs and Bigs to be on full show on YouTube, like with a video show. And I just know that, you know, we're coming up to an hour on this segment, and the previous segment was just under an hour, and this would be a record short show. You know what I mean? Like, so like having somebody sit there for like 3 hours is not likely.
Yeah.
You know, or for like, it's a big ask. And so my thought was like 2026 is the year where there's going to be elements that of Jigs and Bigs that are going to evolve. Like I was always on this, some of our listeners might be familiar. There's a YouTube channel called Good Mythical Morning. These two guys, Rhett and Link, they've been on like the Tonight Show and shit. They're content creators. And I think like it's a daily show, daily. And they're popping in for like 2 15-minute videos a day. But the workload and the staff to put that in is just bananas. It's crazy. Yeah. But like in my mind, I see doing that in like the outdoors, but there was this idea of having a set and having a place to do this and have like a staff. We're nowhere near that. So that's what I mean. Like the challenge is it's kind of hindered the growth of the show. So now there's some elements that I'm trying to bring in. The jig head profile. You know, I had Brandon on. I've got to get in touch with everybody's favorite Ginger Chode, and also with John Hagens. We're gonna do segments with them, but also like past guests that we've already had on, and these are going to be different sort of interviews. You know, it's not going to be like an angler profile. Like they can interview me. It's going to be more of a back and forth. Yeah. Like we'll just get on whatever topic and riff for like less than an hour, and then bam, just turn it right around. And then, you know, there's some other stuff that I want to be able to put in there, like this certified studs, you know, like that's got legs, you know. Yeah, it does. It's one of those things. So there's going to be more of a push to like get in there. And that's kind of been the challenge. Like the schedule makes it tough. Well, we got to keep evolving. You know, we got to do something. So I think that's kind of the move. And how do I not get burnt out? Dude, I am so ate up with this so badly. Like I put myself in debt to up that ante. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not the guy that does that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm like, fucking, you got to be kidding me, but I'm loving it. Like, it is. So I avoid burnout just by doing it because I love it, you know? And if I stop loving it, then it'll be a different story, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Hell yeah.
If there's one benefit to like not fishing until you're in your 30s, you know, that is the one. You know, if there's one benefit to like just going like, I'm not into this. And then later in life going like, let's find something to do that's cheap. Yeah. But yeah, fucking wild. I'm also fucking ripped. Cheryl, she says, super good story. So, but yeah, that's a great question, Eli. You fucking earned that. That was awesome, man. We should have saved that one for the fucking party.
I know.
It would have been bad though at the party, dude. It would have been bad. I'd be fucking bawling my eyes out and shit. I'd be drunk. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
I'd get canceled so fast. Oh my god. What a fucking good show. Isn't that wild that our 2-hour program is a short one?
I know. Crazy. Crazy.
There's some shows in the fishing world that are like, oh yeah, sorry guys, we're taking up so much of your time with 90 minutes. And I'm like, those are chump numbers, man.
I just gotta go to bed and get up at 4:30 in the morning for work.
What time is it? It's 9. Yeah, I should fucking call it a night too, dude. All right, well, let's go. We'll wrap this sucker up. You got anything you want to go out on, Joe?
No, man, that's it. Great show.
You want to tease? Do you have an idea when you're going to do the whatnot? If people want to know,
I don't yet. I got to. I'll just go download it. Follow me, American Vet Fishing, and just watch for pop-up shows. And then when I have a better idea, when I have more stuff, I'm gonna. I'll schedule a big show.
That's fucking awesome. I'm stoked.
Yep.
That's fucking great. I think I was over at my folks. When you did the show, and I was like, God damn it. I'm like, I got a good thing going. I'm like, fuck. So yeah, that's badass. You know what you should do is screen record them. I wonder if this is against terms of service though.
Ooh, I'd have to look.
Screen record them and then put them on your channel.
Ooh.
Everything is content.
I'll have to look if you can do that.
Yeah. That could be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You guys have a great night. Have yourselves a good one, everybody. Remember, if you're out there and you're catching them, share those pics with us, those videos. Tag us so that we can show you a little bit of love, like, share, comment, all that stuff. And as always, remember, like we always say,
tits and ass, smoke some grass.